if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating, that means you're a rat.
Boosie's handing out the whole sewing kit. The man came swinging straight from the jump, calling out rats, like he's running a pest control service for the rap game. He doesn't just talk about loyalty, he treats it like a religion, and T.I. just became the latest sinner at his church. Boozie basically said, if you're squealing to the feds, you're cooked, and didn't bother to sugarcoat it. Forget velvet gloves. He's wearing brass knuckles dipped in sarcasm. It's savage, it's messy, and it's the kind of energy that lights Twitter on fire at 3 a.m.
I gotta say something about this, bro. Dwayne Wade, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male, a 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be.
If you're loving the tea, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button like it owes you money. The wild part, he didn't even tiptoe around T.I.'s reputation. Boozie treated one of Atlanta's most respected rappers like a rookie on probation. By shouting rat in public, he cracked open a whole can of what-ifs.
The T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating, that means you're...
Speculation about T.I.'s old legal cases. Fans instantly started connecting dots like they were on a true crime podcast, whispering about who flipped and who stayed solid. Boozie knows exactly what that word does in hip-hop. It's a nuclear insult, a career grenade, and he lobbed it without blinking. But here's the real twist. Boozie's timing wasn't random. Dropping the rat bomb right when T.I.'s son is in a scandal isn't just messy, it's a masterclass in psychological warfare.
You have any questions for me? No. You need anything to go with you?
My phone.
Your phone? Where's your phone at?
Your car.
We're in the car.
Sexual.
I'm not looking for phones, I'm looking for drugs and guns.
It says, your son's drama is my stage. Watch me steal the show. This is less about truth and more about power. Boozie's turning the court of public opinion into his personal rap coliseum, and he's feeding T.I. to the lions. And the internet? Oh, it's eating it up like popcorn at a gladiator match.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you...
Memes, think pieces. YouTube hot takes. Boozie knew exactly how to get maximum chaos with minimum effort. One Instagram live, one offhand rat comment, and boom, the algorithm's obsessed. If you didn't know Boozie before, now you do. And if you thought T.I. was untouchable, think again.
Tell me. It been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker that like to throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break.
King Harris wanted to be famous. Well, congratulations, kid. You're trending for all the wrong reasons. The internet got its claws on a private video allegedly featuring him.
I am one of you niggas who done been to the penitentiary before, man. What happened when a motherfucker say somebody ain't right and they goddamn show their paperwork and they is right? What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me.
And it was like lighting a match in a room full of fireworks. Overnight, whispers about his sexuality, which had been lurking for years in dark Reddit threads, and shady comments exploded into full-blown conspiracy theories. Forget subtle shade, this was an eclipse blocking out the Harris family's sun. What makes it juicier? Nobody even knows if the video is real. It could be a deepfake, a setup, or just the internet playing mad scientist with somebody's reputation. But facts don't matter online. In 2025, rumors are the new reality show, and King Harris just became its unwilling star. Trolls started screenshotting, remixing, and stitching their hot takes into TikToks faster than his PR team could even open the app. And then came the nuclear twist. Boozie. Instead of clowning King directly, which would have been the obvious boring move, he swerved and aimed at T.I. like a WWE heel turning mid-match, Boozie didn't just mock the kid, he attacked the king of the castle. This wasn't shade, it was a thunderstorm. He was basically saying, your son's mess, your fault, and I'm here to remind everybody. This moment flipped the whole story from a scandal about a teenager's alleged video to a rap world civil war. Suddenly, the private tape wasn't just gossip. It was ammo. Boozie's comment framed T.I. as weak, as a failed father, and as somebody whose household was out of control. That's a heavyweight diss in a culture where family man and gangsta legend are supposed to coexist like oil and water. The irony? King Harris probably thought his biggest problem was trolls. But the real problem was a veteran rapper using his life as a chessboard. This wasn't about his identity. It was about leverage. And the suspense now is whether T.I. claps back or keeps quiet.
I live with my grandma. You know, we'll go to the house on like a weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'm right back to my grandma's.
While Boozie paints him as the Pied Piper of rats. Either way, King's privacy is gone, and the Harris name is the punchline of the month. If you thought this was just another celebrity kid screw-up, buckle up, it's a whole family soap opera with a soundtrack. Boozie's slick pivot turned a messy private leak into an HBO-level feud between two southern rap heavyweights. One minute the internet was gossiping about King's alleged tape, the next it was binge-watching a full-on father versus father showdown. Boozie didn't even flinch. He reached straight past King and flicked T.I. right in the forehead like, yo, this one's on you, dad. What makes it deliciously chaotic? T.I. has spent his whole career cultivating the family-first brand. The reality shows, the red carpets, the I'm a father before I'm a rapper speeches. Boozie just bulldozed that image with one Instagram Live. He basically shouted to the world, your kingdom's crumbling and your heir's a headline. That's not shade, that's a solar eclipse. And the internet? It went from clown emojis to popcorn gifs instantly. Comment sections started dragging up old interviews, baby pictures, even Tiny's Instagram posts to prove the Harris empire was cracking. People weren't just gossiping about King anymore, they were auditing the whole Harris bloodline like it was a reality show gone rogue. The real suspense, T.I.'s next move. Does he clap back and risk giving Boozie even more clout? Or does he go silent and let the internet assume Boozie's right? Either way, Boozie's sitting back like a Bond villain, stroking the chaos cat he just unleashed. In hip-hop politics, timing is everything. And Boozie hit the buzzer beater. If Maury Povich had a hip-hop edition, King Harris would be the pilot episode. The internet has been speculating harder than a Vegas bookie about King's baby mama, her age, and whether the whole pregnancy was a strategic power move. Forget romance Twitter's acting. Like this was a Wall Street merger, and the baby is the stock option. Here's the kicker. The more King tries to show he's a proud dad, the louder the whispers get. He posts baby photos. They zoom in like CSI, saying the kid doesn't look like him. He calls the baby his twin. They're on Photoshop, comparing noses like it's a genealogy exam. It's brutal, it's petty, and it's the kind of internet energy you can't outrun. And Boozie's shade adds gasoline to the fire. Every time he questions T.I.'s parenting or implies King's playing house to cover something up, fans latch onto the baby mama narrative. They're not just questioning King's fatherhood, they're treating it like evidence in a case file. Suddenly, it's not about a kid or a relationship, it's about credibility, masculinity, and whether King is really the grown man he claims to be. But here's the dramatic twist. This whole baby mama saga makes King look less like a player and more like a pawn. While he's fighting trolls about his reputation, people are whispering that she locked him in to secure the Harris bag. Whether true or not, it's the kind of rumor that ages like spoiled milk, it stinks up every future headline. And that's why this point is so savage. It's not just gossip about a couple, it's a narrative trap. No matter what King posts, the internet flips it. If he's a doting dad, he's overcompensating. If he's quiet, he's hiding. Either way, the baby mama subplot is a soap opera inside the main scandal, and Boozie's loving every frame. If authenticity were a currency, the internet swears King Harris is paying in Monopoly money. This kid has been accused for years of cosplaying the street life like it's Comic-Con, minus the badge and lanyard. He drops hood slang like seasoning, flashes a tough persona online, and posts clips that scream, "I'm about that life." But then fans pull up receipts of him chilling at grandma's house, surrounded by snacks and silk sheets. It's giving GTA loading screen energy, not Scarface origin story. The savage part is how relentless the comments have become. Every time King puffs his chest on Instagram Live, the replies look like a roast battle. Boy, You're the son of T.I. and Tiny, the only trenches you've seen are luxury hotel linens. And they're not wrong. King grew up with a safety net, a famous last name, and a bank account most adults would envy. The internet has zero patience for street credibility cosplay when you grew up going to private school carpool. But King's still pushing the image, and that's where it backfires. Every public outburst, every viral meltdown becomes Exhibit A in the "he's faking it" case. It's like he's trying to prove himself to a jury that's already decided the verdict. Instead of clapping for his toughness, people start screenshotting his mistakes to build their own memes. And here's the juicy twist. Boozie knows exactly how to weaponize that. By calling out T.I. during King's scandal, he's indirectly poking at the gangsta persona King's been trying to build. It's a double hit, one at King's identity and one at T.I.'s credibility as a father. The internet can't resist a 2-for-1 deal like that. And until King ditches the "I'm hard" script, every misstep looks like another failed audition for a role he can't land. There's acting out, and then there's going full Hollywood in a Waffle House at 3 a.m. King Harris chose the latter. The footage of him barking at employees, flexing his wallet, and threatening to show what he does turned a late-night snack stop into TMZ's breakfast special. It was peak meltdown energy, the kind of clip that burns itself into the internet's memory like a bad tattoo. The comments were savage. T.I.'s son fighting over hash browns? Boy, you grew up on caviar and you're beefing with a short-order cook. People dragged him so hard you could almost hear the squeak of cartoon brakes. Instead of proving he's about that life, King just looked like another rich kid cosplaying broke boy struggles for clout. Then came the Georgia traffic stop, the sequel nobody asked for. Weed smell, a gun on his hip, and an old warrant hanging over him like a neon sign flashing "Arrest me." When the video hit, it felt like the internet's Super Bowl. Trolls cut it with slow-motion edits, freeze frames, and clown music. Even when King stayed calm, people twisted it into a storyline about him hiding something. Here's the twist. King thinks these clips prove his toughness, but online, they're proof of the opposite. The more he stumbles, the more he fuels the gangsta cosplay narrative. And Boozie, he's loving every second, because each headline about King's chaos makes his jab at T.I. look more prophetic. The internet doesn't see a troubled 20-something making mistakes. It sees a soap opera character whose every mishap is content. And in a culture that eats scandal for breakfast, King Harris just became the all-you-can-eat buffet. This isn't just beef, it's a barbecue. Boozie and Ty have been slow cooking this feud for years, and King Harris's scandal was the perfect wood chip to make it smoke. Forget subtle subs on Twitter. This is full-on chess, and Boozie's moving bishops while T.I.'s still wondering who flipped the board. They've thrown shade over everything from parenting styles to old legal cases, and now it's detonated in the middle of King's messy spotlight. Boozie's attack wasn't just gossip, it was calculated. Remember, T.I. once called Boozie out over his comments about Dwyane Wade's daughter. That moment planted a grudge like a seed, and it's been watered with pettiness ever since. Now Boozie's flipping the script, using T.I.'s own son as a megaphone to humiliate him. It's villain-level plotting. The really cheeky part, King probably doesn't even realize he's being used as ammo. He thinks he's fighting trolls, but he's actually part of a heavyweight grudge match that started long before he ever opened Instagram Live. And the longer he plays along with the gangster image, the easier it is for Boozie to paint him as Exhibit A in T.I.'s household gone wrong. The suspense now isn't about the tape or the trolls. It's about whether T.I. figures out the game before Boozie lands the knockout punch, or whether King keeps handing over fresh material to weaponize. But here's the plot twist. Being the tragic prince of hip-hop royalty also puts him one headline away from a comeback. The same chaos that's feeding the gossip machine could fuel a reinvention if he plays it smart. He could flip the narrative, drop a track, tell his story on his own terms, or he could double down on the meltdown and cement his legacy as the ultimate internet cautionary tale. Boozie thinks he's winning. Ty looks cornered and the crowd's screaming for more blood. But this isn't over. The Harris name still carries weight, and the audience loves a redemption arc almost as much as it loves a downfall. King has a choice: remain the pawn in a decades-old grudge match, or become the king of his own board. Because in the end, the real gag is this. Everybody's so focused on the scandal that they're forgetting the person. The internet's savage, but it's also fickle. Today's meme is tomorrow's shrug. if King can stop being the punchline and start being the plot twist, he could flip this whole circus into his own coronation. Until then, Boozie's shade will keep trending, T.I. will keep defending, and the world will keep refreshing their feeds. So, the ball's in King's court, but is it a throne room or a cage? Stay tuned, because this soap opera is still mid-season, and the next episode could be the one where the prince finally stops playing by his father's script and writes his own.